Kingdom Hearts is in a really interesting position right now, especially in 2026 when I record this, where people were chomping at the bit for a lot more information, and they did finally get quite a bit about Kingdom Hearts 4. And we got these major updates at D23, there's an animated series on Disney Plus on the way, and Disney Channel, and so Disney has actually made it clear here that Kingdom Hearts is a priority for them. And some people are going to be clapping and jumping up and down and saying, yay. I don't want to be a naysayer here, but as somebody who loves this franchise, I think that is equal parts exciting and terrifying. But it does make me wonder what's going to happen to Kingdom Hearts when Tetsuya Nomura isn't as much of a presence here anymore, and Disney still wants to push this direction. Now, I'm not here to fearmonger for people. Nomura himself is someone who actually acknowledged that his retirement is not super far away. You know, he's already started bringing new writers into Kingdom Hearts, and he did say this in a Young Jump interview a while back, that his retirement was something he's thinking about. So it does make me wonder where we're going from here. But I do want to ask you, do you think Kingdom Hearts would still be able to be Kingdom Hearts without Nomura? And why or why not? Now, like I said, they greenlit that Kingdom Hearts animated series. They want it to be a brand new story. It's being produced by Disney and Square Enix, and Nomura is involved. So it's not that Nomura is not involved in this new stuff. I think it's encouraging and great. You know, it's not like Disney is trying to take this and rip it away from his hands and Square Enix and say, no, this is mine now. But when I look at some of the comments in terms of this being only a first step, because that was one of the comments made, that this is a first step in Disney wanting to do more Kingdom Hearts, that's where I start to get a little iffy on it. Like, this could be a great thing. This could mean there's talented people coming in, they're making Kingdom Hearts, they're just as much or more of a fan of it than someone like me or you listening. We've also seen a lot of people touch source material and not really know what to do with it when it comes to different series in the past. So it does make me wonder where they go. You know, when you go back to 2024, there was this Young Jump interview where Nomura was directly asked whether he saw Kingdom Hearts being completed and ending, and he actually had said, I only have a few years left until I retire. And then he was joking around saying he didn't know if he was going to retire or finish the series first, and he even said that he was making Kingdom Hearts 4 with the intention that it was leading towards a story conclusion. Now, we don't know if that means he expected the entire series to just end, you know, depending on where he's leading it. But he didn't announce his retirement. He didn't say, I'm leaving when 4 comes out. He didn't do anything like that, but he did point towards that being an inevitability. And I think we all know that. None of us are immortal. We all have to grow old and do different things, but it's something that feels weird to us because stories are immortal, right? As long as they're preserved somehow, digitally, physically, whatever, these stories will long outlive us. And when it's a story like Kingdom Hearts, where it's been this one key creator tied to it the whole time, I think that's where a clean break or a potential moving on is very scary. We've seen it work before with different ones, but we've also seen it massively backfire. You know, it's weird because there's never really been a Kingdom Hearts without Nomura. I talk a lot about Batman on my other channel, DJayRPG, and superheroes and stuff like that. Something interesting about them is there's been a lot of great stories, there's been a lot of terrible stories. But these are characters that are maybe 80, 60, 70 years old. So they've gone through a lot of creators. So people are used to those things changing hands. We're not used to that with Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is something where Nomura literally co-created this franchise, directed the major entries in it. He's always had a central role. He's super involved in Kingdom Hearts. But at the same time, he himself is already bringing other writers in, which I think is interesting because in that Young Jump interview back in 2024, and I believe we talked about this a little bit back then, Nomura had said that with Kingdom Hearts 4 and Missing Link at the time before it was canceled, he said that he brought in new writers to help with making those games, and he actually explained that there was staff who hadn't previously worked on Kingdom Hearts that was working in the scenario writing department and doing other stuff, but he was ultimately editing, overseeing it. He was still the key creator. Now, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily training his replacements We don't know that this is something like the Toyotaro situation with Dragon Ball, where Akira Toriyama was the key guy, and then he brought in this other writer who was also a fan, who went on to continue it past Toriyama's passing. We don't know if that's the kind of thing happening here. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is it's interesting to see that he is already bringing in new people. He's not necessarily just sticking to people who worked on KH1 through 3 or wrote for Birth by Sleep or anything like that. He's already open to having new people help. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the succession after he steps down, but I do think this is a healthy thing that they can do. Hypothetically, say Nomura steps down and you have one of these people who helps him write a few games, all of a sudden there's somebody who worked with the man himself. That's a good thing to have on staff, or a good thing that you can use as a resource at the very least. But with Disney, I think I get a little concerned, because Nomura essentially said that when he's in a position to determine that a Disney World should appear, he wants it to synergize with Sora's story, and he wants to work that in. That's one of the reasons why they put Coco for Kingdom Hearts 4. So that's good, right? It's not just there because Disney wanted to promote Coco, so they threw it in there. Nomura specifically wanted to work this into Sora's story. That's what I want Kingdom Hearts to be, by the way. Kingdom Hearts, with its own unique lore, unique worlds, unique story, featuring Disney. Not Disney featuring Kingdom Hearts. I don't want Disney to essentially be the core centerpiece and Kingdom Hearts to be the backdrop. I want Kingdom Hearts to be the core centerpiece. And I already personally have a little bit of frustration with this with Final Fantasy, where I feel like it was really cool when it was, I don't know what you'd even say, but probably 70% really focused on Kingdom Hearts lore and Kingdom Hearts, and then there was like a 20%, 25% in here of Disney, and then 5% Final Fantasy. I'm talking about things mattering. I guess I'm breaking it down arbitrarily, but you know what I mean, where it was like that Kingdom Hearts DNA was the core, and you had parts of Final Fantasy, and you had a bunch of Disney. Well, now we're already moving away from Final Fantasy. Now it's like there's a bunch of Kingdom Hearts, and still a bunch of Disney. I worry what happens when someone like Nomura is gone. Does it become a bunch of Disney featuring parts of Kingdom Hearts? Because I don't think that's what people want out of the franchise either. I want to keep this part short, but Disney is not necessarily bad. I think that people look at these huge corporations and they think, oh yikes, they are wanting their way, they butt in with the creative process, all this stuff. I mean, largely, Nomura has been able to still tell his story that he wants to tell. And I've seen Disney bring in talented and creative people that make great, successful movies. I look at the MCU, and I know recent years have made people think a little differently sometimes, but you look at someone like Kevin Feige. Marvel Studios was able to succeed with that leadership and planning and bringing in filmmakers who wanted to work on these things together towards a greater goal. You had all those things mixed together to mostly make strong projects that made a lot of money. And The Mandalorian is another example here too. I think that they brought in creative direction that was really passionate about Star Wars, but then I look at something like the Star Wars sequel trilogy. And you might love that. If you do, that's great. But even people who love it notice that the leadership on it is kind of random. It's like J.J. Abrams wants to go one way and then Rian Johnson wants to go another way. It's like a yo-yo. It's just kind of going back and forth because there wasn't one strong creative vision going in. So that's an example right there of Disney empowering people to make something and them not really bringing it together into one cohesive vision, but instead kind of going back and forth. That's what worries me about Kingdom Hearts. I worry that it becomes a sequel trilogy and not a Mandalorian. I don't think there's anything wrong with being excited. Seeing a new animation, Kingdom Hearts 4, all these new potential projects, that's cool. I'm excited too. I hope that's good, and I'm not here to say it won't be. I don't know. But I do think that if Kingdom Hearts outlives its original creator, it does have a very big mountain to climb that some series, some characters and franchises have been able to, get past and make amazing things. and others have really gotten stuck. I think the challenge here is being able to preserve the identity and still make new and interesting stories that are in the spirit of what Kingdom Hearts is, if it is going to continue past Nomura. You know, I think what Kingdom Hearts really needs, if it was to survive the departure of its creator, is leadership that understands what Kingdom Hearts is, understands what the fans love about Kingdom Hearts. I'm not saying everything has to be by committee, but understands why we connect with these characters, why we connect with these worlds, why they work and why sometimes they don't. I think they need to understand where there have been some pitfalls and where the successes have been, and understand that mythology, you know, because that mythology is complex, it's interesting, and it's wildly underestimated by some people. There are people that I see dismiss Kingdom Hearts so brazenly and say, it's convoluted, the story's bad, nobody understands it, it's terrible. By taking things out of context, no, like, yes, Nomura needs refreshers sometimes on his own story and has said that before. Yes, there are parts of the story that are complex. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's creatively free in a lot of ways and interesting, and if we lose that soul of what that is because Nomura moves on, I don't think that would be Kingdom Hearts anymore. It's okay for it to be what it is, and I'm open to new stories, I'm open to new people, if they can keep it in the spirit of that. You know, I think it can survive. The same way I've said that I think a game like Metal Gear Solid, despite its huge connections to Kojima, could survive if you had talented writers in there that understood what it was and were passionate. I think that that can be the case here too, but it is something scary when you have someone who is so integral, acknowledging that they're getting older and thinking about retiring, and hey, God bless him, he's earned it, right? But you have that happening, you have new writers entering, you have Disney itself, one of the biggest entertainment corporations on earth, looking at something we love and saying, hey, actually, we just noticed that over there for the first time, and we want to expand that. And we're kind of looking at like, oh, okay. It could be extremely exciting, but it's also kind of scary. You know, I don't think the goal should just be making more of Kingdom Hearts. There could be 500 Kingdom Hearts games, and if 490 of them suck, who cares? The point should be making sure that the people who are entrusted with Kingdom Hearts going forward understand why we all loved it in the first place. And Tetsuya Nomura won't be around forever, we won't be around forever. But I think if Disney and Square can choose the right people, give them creative freedom, let the next generation of writers here learn from the senior writers who have created these things, there is a way for Kingdom Hearts to remain what it is and stay special. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think about all this? Are you worried about Disney wanting to expand? Are you not? I'm interested to hear that. If you enjoyed the video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, we appreciate that so much, and all of your support. And we do also have as well a channel, Degenerate Plays, where we've played through multiple Kingdom Hearts games, and we're currently playing through 358 days. So we'd love to see you over there. We also have our own store, CosmoBunny.shop, where you can support us with coasters, keychains, trays, and more, all made out of resin, and comic books, manga, and magazines, and other books that have been damaged. So my wife Jill takes those books, transformatively turns them into a new piece of art for your home, and then we recycle the rest of that paper, keeping it out of landfills and making something amazing. You can use code DJAY123 for 10% off your first purchase. Have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shui.